Computer likes to mess up, so we'll see how it works today. All right, and then I need to share my screen. All right, I got this video I made with this team down in California, so I want you to see it.
It's a human thing.
Lead with power.
Compete with confidence.
Play with resilience. Own her power.
I wear the feeling all day long. All day long. I wear the feeling all day long. All day long.
Unlock her confidence.
Empower her.
Conditioned beliefs that drive behaviors.
I am 1 out of 8 billion.
I am unique, valuable, and enough.
Okay, so what I want you to do while I am preparing to, I'm gonna introduce myself, but as a part of this process, you're gonna also introduce yourself. And with your introduction, I would like to know a strength and a uniqueness about you. Okay, so I want you to be thinking about it while I give you my introduction. Okay, so let's get it. All right. So again, I want you to come up with hello, welcome.
Hi.
Hey, do remind me of your name.
Sydney.
Sydney. Okay, let me change it so that way I spell it for me. S-Y.
Sydnee.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So I just did a video, so you're not too late or anything. I just showed a video real quick about some athletes I worked with down in California, but I am going to introduce myself. But while I'm introducing myself, I want you to think of a strength and a uniqueness that is about you. And I'm going to introduce myself in the process. So my name is Coach Ashley Carter. I am a motivational speaker. I am a athletic facility workshop person. I work with coaches. I work with athletes of all levels to help develop the identity, the confidence, and the mental skills for female athletes so that they not only succeed in the game, but that they succeed in life. Because I want you guys to realize that the game is a really big deal for you right now, but the reality is that the game is going to end, but your life still has so much purpose, so much joy, so much great things to come. So I'm going to spend this time just kind of helping you develop as a person. And then as we grow as a person, we become better athletes as a byproduct. So that is the process. I have played Division I softball at a school called Grambling State University. I've coached high school, I've coached community college, I've coached NAIA, I've coached Division II, and then most recently, I coached at the University of Washington where I met Sydney. Actually, I saw that picture, which is really cool, where I met Sydney, and I've coached at the University of Washington. I was there for 1 year, and then I made a decision to go full-time into my business, where I, again, like I said, help female athletes just like you. So I actually own 2 businesses, one called Lead Her Ship Athletics, and the other one is called Coach Ashley Carter. So that is a little bit about me. That was my uniquenesses. I would say my strengths. I will be honest with you guys. I really get scared every time I have to do these sessions. So I want you to know, just like you're scared to talk, I am also scared to talk and share this information. But I realize that it's my purpose, and so I do it. So I just kind of give myself some deep breaths. I, just kind of go over things. I try to get prepared, and then I show up. I just try to be courageous for you guys. So I hope that today you also are willing to be a little courageous with me, and we just start to grow. I will tell you one other thing that, knowing that this can be an uncomfortable space, we don't know each other for some of us. I want you to know that there is no judgment for me. You don't have to worry about trying to spell things correctly, say things correctly, read things correctly. I might ask you questions at the dialogue, but it's just to get clarification, because for me, I don't want to assume that I am understanding what you are saying when you answer a question. For instance, you might say, oh, I'm doing good. And I might say to you, okay, well, what do you mean by good? So my interpretation of good could be, okay, I had a good breakfast this morning, I had a good lunch this morning, I got to work out, I had a really good time. For some other people, good could be, I didn't do as much, I just did one thing and I feel good about it. And so there are differences. And so I want you to come fully in your uniqueness and your differences, and we're gonna have a good time today. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so I can see you guys fully. And let's talk about who you are. All right. So any volunteers want to go first? Nobody? Okay, I like to call on people, and I'll tell you that I like to call on people who have potential, and all of you have potential. So I can happily call on one of you. So let's go, Michelle. You're in the middle of my screen. Give me your name. Give me your name, maybe your grad year, and maybe what position you play, and then your strength and your uniqueness.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I graduated in the class of 2025, and my positions I play primarily I play shortstop, but I can play outfield. I'm more like a utility.
Okay.
And one of my uniquenesses, let me skip that. I'll come back to it. But one of my, which one was the other one?
Strength.
One of my strengths that I'm a leader, and then I'm not afraid to speak up when I see something happening.
I love it.
Yeah, and then my uniqueness is I'm open to trying new things. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a uniqueness. Tell me what you tried recently that was a little out of your comfort zone.
Sorry. It was like baker's chocolate. It was really bad. It was really
It was
bitter.
nasty. It was disgusting.
Yeah, but it
Oh,
wasn't. It was like baker's chocolate. It wasn't like any sweetness to it. So it was just,
yeah, that would not be good. I got you.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, cool. Let's go Sydney next.
My name's Sydney. I graduate in 2026, and I am a pitcher, and I play first base, and I can play basically anywhere.
Okay.
And my strength is probably that I'm very like coachable, and I listen to things well. And my uniqueness, I like to have different hair colors when I play. So that's unique, I guess.
That's very unique. I love it. So is your hair color a different color this time?
Yeah, it has like, oh wait, you can't see, but there's like blue.
Oh yeah, I see the blue. Nice.
Yeah.
When I met you, I think you had pink and blue or something. When
Yeah.
I met you. Okay, cool. Awesome. And then Jocelyn, what do you got for me? Uh-oh. Yep, there you go.
Sorry, my screen just like froze. My name's Jocelyn. I graduate in 2026, and oh wait, the other one. I play pitcher and first base, and I'd say one of my strengths is once I learn something, I can get it within like a few tries, and I can do it pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'd say one of my uniquenesses is, can it be like anything?
Yeah.
I really like the Mariners, and my like background is Julio Rodriguez.
Oh, okay. All right. Where does Julio play?
He plays center field.
Okay. I went to one Mariners game my entire life. So I think he was in the outfield when I was there. So that's cool. Awesome. Well, you guys killed that exercise in a good way. I think a lot of times when I ask that question, even to college athletes, here's what I usually get. Oh, I don't know a strength about me, or oh, I don't have a uniqueness. And I have to remind them that I don't know them. And the reality is whether you told me you were from Mars. Like, I wouldn't know you. So like anything that you say could be a strength of your uniqueness. And I think a lot of times, like, it's more about you owning your strength and your uniqueness and being okay with what those things are, instead of blocking yourself from saying that you have those things. And I think that happens a lot with athletes, where we tend to sometimes tell ourselves we can't do something before we actually have to do it. And it really is like a roadblock in our mind that sets us back. So that exercise, I do it for a lot of different reasons, but for one reason is to get you to speak your own confidence. The second is, you never know who's in the group that might have some like-minded things like you, that maybe have some different thoughts. And so in the room, we already noticed we have two 2026s, and they're both pitchers and first basemen. Like, who would have thought, you know? So that's kind of how this thing starts. And this is why it's really important that we have this dialogue and this conversation. So I'm going to share my screen again here. And just as a refresher for you guys, this is true. This is be true. There are usually two areas or two muscles that you as athletes or high performers will spend time training. And that is your skill, your body, and your skill. So most times you guys are like, okay, you might want to go play in college, or maybe you don't. But in the process, you're like, I'm playing this sport at a high level, so I have to be in the best shape. I have to make sure I'm strong enough to withstand multiple games in a day, because, you know, softball, we play about 3-4 games in a day, sometimes 6. So we got to be strong enough. And then the other side of that is that we got to work on our skill, right? So we spend time hitting, fielding, pitching, you know, catching. We do all this. We spend so much time on that. I got a glimpse of somebody's schedule on this screen today, and I saw her schedule, and she does a lot of things that are skill specific, that are going to help her develop into the best pitcher athlete that she could be. But a lot of times what I realize is that people forget these two other muscles that are really, really important, that we also have to train. So again, this is what I do. And the first muscle is the mind. If you didn't know your muscle was a mind, it is a mind, and we got to take your mind to the mind gym. And the second thing we also have to train is our heart, our person, who we are, our identity, who's inside of us. So again, as we work over the next 3 weeks, we're going to focus on 3 main things. And as we focus on the 3 main things, you'll know what they are, because we're going to watch this video, and I want you to listen to it, and I want you to figure out what the 3 things are. Okay. So let me pull up this video for you. And I am going, oh man, I moved the thing. Let's see. I think it's here. All right, so listen to Russell Wilson. I know he left us, but I still like him. I still like his mind gym stuff. So we'll check out what he has to
Did you get all those guys, the veterans, those
this a little bit.
quarterback that team?
Well, I think there's a few things. I think that to be a leader, you have to know yourself. You have to know your identity. You know, whether it's business, whether it's sports, whether it's family, you have to know your identity. You have to know who you are and what you stand for. And I think that was the first thing. You know, I believed in hard work. I believed in the dedication. I believed in the commitment.
Did you have any time where you doubted, like, you know, can I live up to?
You know, for me, no. For me, I didn't, because I knew what I was putting into it. You know, when you put something into it, you put all this preparation into it. It's like you believe in it. You know, and I think that's where people go wrong. I think a lot of times people think that they can do it, but they're not willing to go there to do it. They're not willing to do the extra stuff to do it. And for me, I just trusted in the process. I knew what I was going to take. And so I think also too, you know, I had a vision. I wrote it out. You know, I believe in writing out your goals. I think that when you write out your goals, you get to see it every day. You get to see, you get to think about it, you get to feel it, you get to sense it, you get to smell it, you get to know it. And for me, that was a big deal for me. I had to write out my vision. And I was going to believe in that wholeheartedly. And if people didn't, I was going to leave them by the wayside.
So what?
Okay. I also forgot to say, make sure you guys are taking notes, but I want you to tell me one of the 3 things that you heard him say you got to have to be a leader. All right. So let's go. Jocelyn, you're at the top of my screen. What's one thing you heard?
Well, I heard him say that, like, some people just, like, don't want to do it. Like, they just, like, don't want to, like, do what they need to do to, like, get there and be, like, at the top.
Yeah.
like stood out.
Yeah. So what would be the reverse of that? So people don't like to do it. So that means people who do like to do it, what are they doing? What are they trying to do?
They're like just trying to be in a positive mindset, like have their like goals like written out and stuff. Like
Okay, so we got one. Yeah. Yeah. So one was we have to have a vision. Okay. So that was actually number 3, but we have to have a vision. Okay. So that was one. Let's go, Sydney. What did you hear him say?
Like try and be around positive people, I guess, and don't like the negativity. So if someone is bringing you down, then you shouldn't be around them if you're trying to be in a positive place.
Yeah, he kind of mentioned that. But I think there was something else that he mentioned in a way that said, if you worry about this thing, it takes less time. It takes more away. Like it doesn't allow you to take away from that by thinking of what you just said, like other people who may think different things or not have belief in you. So keeping like a positive mindset. But there's something that he said he had to have personally. Do you remember what it was? How about let's ask Michelle. Michelle, do you know what I'm talking about?
Did he say something about like a goal?
So the vision was the goal. Yep. What else
Like
did
he
he
had a
say?
goal of himself, like envision of himself in the future.
Yep. So he's the vision. So we have that one. We're missing 2. You guys want to watch it again? Because it's kind of important. Let's watch it again. I will show it again for you. 1 second. I gotta find it. Where did I took it off? So let me.
This is your
Sorry.
information.
Now I have
and this
commercials. I don't pay for YouTube.
could you get?
All right, let me go back. All right, I want you guys to listen, and if you need to write it down, write it down. Write down what you think he said. All right.
That team. Well,
Okay, hold on. Let me share again. All right, here we go. Take a listen.
I think there's a few things. I think that to be a leader, you have to know yourself. You have to know your identity. You know, whether it's business, whether it's sports, whether it's family, you have to know your identity. You have to know who you are and what you stand for. And I think that was the first thing. You know, I believed in hard work. I believed in the dedication. I believed in the commitment.
Did you have any time where you doubted, like, you know, can I live up to?
You know, for me, no. For me, I didn't, because I knew what I was putting into it. You know, when you put something into it, you put all this preparation into it. It's like you believe in it. You know, and I think that's where people go wrong. I think a lot of times people think that they can do it, but they're not willing to go there to do it. They're not willing to do the extra stuff to do it. And for me, I just trusted in the process. I knew what I was going to take. And so I think also too, you know, I had a vision. I wrote it out. You know, I believe in writing out your goals. I think that when you write out your goals, you get to see it every day. You get to see, you get to think about it, you get to feel it, you get to sense it, you get to smell it, you get to know it. And for me, that was a big deal for me. I had to write out my vision, and I was going to believe in that wholeheartedly. And if people didn't, I was going to leave them by the wayside.
Okay, let's try again. Sydney, did you catch something different this time?
Knowing yourself.
Absolutely. Yep. One was knowing yourself. Yep. Michelle, what other one did you catch?
That you have to like believe in yourself and you have to stand for like your goals or yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the last one that he mentioned, oh gosh, okay. The last one that he mentioned that I want to give to you guys. So number 1 is definitely knowing yourself. Okay. Know who I am. Who am I? Okay. The second thing that he said is you got to trust your preparation or trust your process. So your preparation, know what you put into it, and then trust that process. And then the last one he said was to know your vision, right? To believe in it wholeheartedly, and that those who don't believe it, you leave them by the wayside. And so my business, ladies, is called Lead Hership Athletics. And the goal of my business is not to teach you to be leaders to yourself and to other people, but is to teach you how to lead your own journey, like yourself. So it's about you, because I want you to know that really at the end of the day, this is your life. And I know like you have parents that are going to help you get to certain things that you want to get to, but it's really going to be up to you as you move forward. Do I really like playing softball? Do I really like doing the things that I like to do? Is it going to withstand when things get tough or when things get hard? How do I navigate creating new friendships and meeting new people? Do I not show up as myself? Do I hide some of myself because I got to fit in? No, I want you guys to show up really as you are, like being the best version of yourself that you can be. So that is the goal of like the beginning of this process. Okay, the beginning of this process that we do over the next 3 weeks is to help you guys to realize, let me share my screen. It's just kind of taking a little bit. Number one, I want you to realize that out of 8 billion people in the world, there is only one of you. Okay, that makes you unique, that makes you valuable, and that makes you enough. Okay, so we got to start to create this image that, man, I am one of 8 billion people. I am one in 8 billion. I am, because of who I am, I got to own all of my strengths. I got to own all of my uniquenesses, because that is what makes me so cool and who I am. And the reason why this is so important, because we're going to answer today, our focus is going to be, who am I? The first question that he said to become a leader is knowing who you are. We're going to start to build a foundation of who we are today. Okay. So if you look at this elephant, Sydney, tell me what you see when you look at this elephant.
It's kind of, is it like connected to something?
It is. Yeah. It's hard to see the thing that's connected to, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jocelyn, tell me why you think I showed this picture.
Probably because like it's like a really big elephant, right? So like, and this like little small thing in the ground is like holding it back. It's kind of like a metaphor, kind of like something like that.
Look at you, the metaphors, absolutely. Michelle, you see anything different?
No, I kind of related to what Jocelyn, that it was like tied down, that it could be like something very simple, holding him back or holding the elephant back from something.
Yeah, so true. So this elephant was sold to the circus when it was really, really small. And it would go perform at night, night after night it would perform. They would take him to the back, they would tie him to this peg and this string and this rope. And every night this happened for years upon years upon years. And the elephant continued to grow and grow and grow. Now, unfortunately, even though his size grew, he became stronger, more powerful, one of the most powerful animals in the world. Unfortunately, he was conditioned to think that when he gets tied to this peg, in his mind, it was a block. And it was a thing that said that when I'm tied to this block, I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything. But if he was just able to look in the mirror and just see how powerful he was, he would easily realize that this rope can't hold him back. In fact, he's stronger than this rope and he can get away at any time that he can. And a lot of times our mind is very much like this peg and this rope, where we will oftentimes be held down by a thought. Maybe a coach didn't see something in us. Maybe a teammate was being rude to us. Maybe a teacher said that we weren't going to be anything or do anything. And these thoughts are just like this peg. Maybe I struck out. Maybe I hit a batter. These things are like pegs that hold us back. And we got to find a way to realize, if we just look in the mirror, we can just realize how powerful we actually are. So if I was to ask you the question, who are you? Would you be able to answer the questions, ladies? It'd be kind of a hard question to answer, right? Just kind of off top, right? So let me give you a few guides. We're going to create our identity, some other things that make us who we are outside of our athleticism. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple categories. And as you look at these categories, I want you to think about, how do these things play into who I am? How do these things make me who I am? And so let's start. the first category that we want to think about is our family dynamic. Now, this could be, I may be a younger child, I might be an older child, I might be a only girl in my family, I might be one of 3 girls in my family. I want you to think about, I might be adopted, whatever it is, I want you to think about your family dynamic, and then how does that speak to your identity? So I want you to take some time, and I want you to jot down some things that come to mind when you think about who you are based on your family. Okay, so take some notes, please. I'll give you about 2 minutes. Brainstorm any, or maybe a minute. Brainstorm anything that comes to mind. Maybe 20 more seconds. Okay, the next category that I want you to use to think more into who you are is I want you to think about, some of us have maybe faith or religion that plays into our background. If that sparks something for you, I mean, what does it say? For some people, religion could be a thing that reminds me that I can always have some sort of faith, or think of something bigger than myself. So anything that comes to mind when you think about faith, feel free to write it down now. Okay, the next category I want us to think about, it should be an easy one. It is a part of, it's a part of us, but it's not who we are, it's what we do. But let's think about your sport. How does your sport speak to who you are? And when I'm talking about this time, it's not necessarily like, oh, I'm a pitcher or I'm a shortstop. I want you to think more about what are some of the traits that these positions have to be good or to be successful. So think about how your sport plays into that, maybe even teamwork and hard work, and give me some of those characteristics that come to mind when you think of you being an athlete. Maybe 20 more seconds on this. Okay, the next category, we have two more categories. The next category, and I'm just trying to get you to pull some other things that make you who you are. So my next category is your ethnicity, your background, where your family came from. Is there anything that comes to mind? For me, I'm African American, so there are some things that come to mind for me, like resilience, like strong, like have to overcome barriers and boundaries. And I also think about I was born in the South, so we got good food and good cooking and all that culture. So just what comes to mind when you think of your ethnicity, your background of who you are? And the last one, this might not have much to do with you guys, because I usually sometimes talk to college athletes. And so sometimes they may be first generation students. But the last one I have is like your education. But when I did work with some younger athletes, they would say, my family's really smart. Like we have straight A's, or like we're really smart as a family. And so whatever comes to mind when you think of education, just trying to spark some ideas. So feel free to write down anything that you think about when you think about that. Okay, I'd love to hear some of the things you wrote down. So you don't have to tell me everything, but just give me a synopsis like, hey, my name is Michelle, or you don't have to say your name. This is some things about me that's really cool or unique, or just things about me. Michelle, why don't you go first since I said your name?
That one thing I really thought is that I'm the oldest daughter and I'm a middle child. That I'm aggressive and aware of my surroundings, and that I'm working and I'm focused.
Yeah. Tell me what comes with being the only or the oldest girl, but the middle child. Like what comes to mind when you think of like what characteristics do you have to be the oldest girl, but the middle child?
I feel like because I'm the oldest daughter, that you kind of have to take responsibility, and you have to you have to help her out around the house, and you have to really be helping out, and
Yeah.
that you have to help your younger siblings a lot.
Yep.
That's what.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about that a little bit tomorrow, but yes, you were absolutely right. Jocelyn, what about you?
I wrote down that I am one of two kids. I'm the oldest. I'm the only girl in my family. Well, like kid girl. My mom is also.
Well, yeah.
I also wrote that I'm really competitive in like everything.
Yeah. Yep.
And I also have a 4.0 GPA.
Yep. Yeah. Tell me what comes with being the oldest child in your brain.
Well, I feel like my parents' attention is on me most of the time, so there's that because I'm the oldest, and I guess because of like all my sports, I kind of need the most attention in the family, like to get driven to stuff and like stuff like that, kind of.
How old is your youngest sibling? Your younger sibling?
He's 2 years younger than me. He's 12. He's also
Okay.
autistic, so.
Yeah. You know, I'm an older child too, and I thought the same thing that you thought. And then I also like felt like my brother, who was younger, always got away with a lot more things than me. And I'm like, I couldn't do that when I was his age. How come he can? So I know exactly what you mean. Okay. Sydney, what about you?
I'm an only child, so yeah. And then I want to go to like an HBCU, so
Yeah.
that's and then
Tell me why. Like what sparks your interest in HBCUs to learn more about your background, or what makes you think like HBCU?
um it just I don't know, I kind of want to be a part of my culture because like I live in Washington, so it's not really interesting, I guess.
Okay.
So
Just so you guys know, HBCU stands for Historically Black Colleges. So she wants to go to a historically Black college. You have one in mind? You're gonna say Howard, watch.
yeah.
I knew it. I knew it. Yeah. Yeah, okay. And tell me about what's your perception of being an only child as it relates to why you brought that up?
It's just I have responsibilities, but it's not like as harsh as when you have siblings or something. And it's coming from a different perspective of like your parents only have to focus on me
Yeah.
and not multiple people. So I basically get everything.
So you're spoiled, you're saying. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Sorta.
I'm just kidding. I got you. I got you. Okay. Well, awesome. Well, thank you guys for sharing so much. I will share mine in a little bit, just so you get to know a little bit about me. But what we are creating right now is this concept of, we call it a me wheel. Okay. And a me wheel helps us with understanding our self-worth and our value, especially when we're so big into our sport and being a competitor. And sometimes when playing our sport becomes a lot and maybe it gets frustrating, we want you to just remember that there are so many things that make you who you are. And our brain is really great at allowing us to focus on one thing, except for allowing us to focus on one thing. And sometimes we have to like redirect it to the things that also matter, which is to let you know that although you are an athlete, there are so many other things that make you who you are. So what I want you to do is I want you to draw this on your notebook. And what you're going to do is you're going to fill in at least like all of these spokes. They're called spokes. And at the end of each line, you're going to make a circle. And you're going to put something else in there. I'm an only child. I'm an older daughter, but I'm a middle child. I'm a middle daughter. I am competitive. I am aggressive. I am whatever comes to mind. I'm Black. I'm, Asian American, whatever it is that you came up with on your list. I'm a 4.0 student. I want you to put it around your me wheel. Okay. And so I want you to draw it out, but I want you to create it for the next time we meet. So I just want to see it the next time we get together. I'll go ahead and draw it so you know what it looks like. And then I'm going to show you a video. This is a little bit of a long video, but it's talking about developing or understanding our values, our identity, and like our personality. So I like this video because it does a great job of breaking down those things, because now we got to create are what things that are important to us and what are our values. So we're gonna talk about it after we watch the video.
Who are you? What do you like to do? What makes you, you? Your identity, or who you are as a person, is made up of a whole range of different things. It can be made up of where you come from, your ethnicity, your religion, your language, what you like, your hobbies, your unique personality, and much more. When you have a strong sense of identity and feel confident about who you are more likely to have the courage and confidence to succeed. But how exactly do you have a strong sense of identity? Well, it's a combination of lots of things. Knowing who you are, what your values are, and being proud of all those things creates your identity. One way to learn more about yourself and your identity is to think about your values. Values are a group of characteristics, ideas or areas in life that are important to you. Some of your values could include honesty, generosity, good manners, determination, creativity, leadership, kindness, or loyalty. But of course, every single person is unique, which means everyone values things differently. Did you know that you can learn from others who have different values to you? It's a great opportunity to see the world from another person's perspective, which will help you stay open-minded. Here are some tips to help you recognise what you value and to feel good about your personal identity. Write a list of all the things you love. This will help you get in touch with your values. What types of books do you like to read? What subjects do you like in school? What motivates you? The answers to these might reveal a lot about your values. For example, if you really enjoy science at school, you might value curiosity and exploration. If you like team sports, you might value teamwork and cooperation. Maybe you can use this list to identify what your core values are and how they play a part in your everyday life. Get to know and celebrate your culture and language. Your culture and language are huge parts of who you are, and you should be proud of and celebrate them. Cultures and languages help to create the colourful world that we enjoy every day, so it's wonderful to share these things with others. The final tip is, don't be afraid to be you. The exciting thing about the world is that everyone is totally unique. There is only one you. Everybody has their own special traits and talents, and this is what makes our world so diverse and interesting. Just imagine if everyone was the same. What a boring world that would be. Even if you feel like you have traits that are negative or embarrassing, remember that it is just another part of how unique you are, and you shouldn't feel ashamed of them. So don't be afraid to be you, because nobody can do it better than, well, you. As you go
All right, so that was the video. So here's how we're going to start to create our values. I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to ask you the same question. I'm going to ask it to you 5 times. And every time I ask you the question, you have to give me a different answer for the question, okay? And you're going to write it down. You're not going to say it out loud. You're going to write it down. Okay, so give me one thing every time I ask you the question. So the question is, what is important to you? Give me one thing. And then I'm going to ask you again, what else is important to you? And then we have to think a little bit deeper because I'm going to ask you that question again. What else is important to you? What else is important to you? And one more time, we gotta dig a little bit deeper. Give me one more thing that is important to you. Now, usually people will stop at these things to determine what is important to them. They'll use, and I can guarantee you, most of you probably said something like family or friendships or my sport. So I'm sure that some of you guys have said that, and those things are great. But I think there is a deeper, there's a deeper thing there that we want to pull out, and that's really where the value lives. So I want to ask, can I have a volunteer that be willing to do an exercise with me? Okay, will somebody be brave enough to do this exercise with me? You'll do it, Sydney? Okay. All right, so here's how it's gonna work. And ladies, I want you to pay attention because you're gonna be asking yourself this question for all 5 of your things you wrote down. So Sydney, I'm gonna ask you the question, what is important to you? And go ahead and give me your answer. So Sydney, what is important to you?
Being a Christian.
Okay, being a Christian. Okay, Sydney, tell me, why is being a Christian important to you?
Because I believe that God's always like with you and he'll get you through whatever you're going through.
Yeah. And what does knowing that God is always with you to help you get through things, like what does that give you?
It gives me courage to do things that are out of my comfort zone.
Yeah. And why do you want to have courage to do things that are out of your comfort zone?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like something different.
Okay. Or is it okay, something different? Like as in when you say something different, tell me a little bit more about that.
Let's maybe playing a different position, like on the field.
Yeah, tell me why, what is when you get to play a different position, what does that help? Like, what does it help you with? What does it help you do?
What do you mean? What does it help me do?
Yeah, like, okay, well, why? Tell me why you would want to play another position. You don't have to be deep. Yep, go ahead.
It just gives you like a different perspective of what other people see on the field versus only yours perspective.
Absolutely. And I think that's what you were getting at. And so that's your value. Your value is like being a Christian is important, but the reason why you want to be a Christian is because you want to see other people's perspectives in life. Like you value those things about other people as their other people's perspectives and like getting to know things. But being able to have the courage to do that is also very important. Right? So all these things tie into it. So to me, I think the root of that though is being courageous enough to see other people as they are or in their differences, right? And so ladies, what I did was I asked, why was that important? And what does it give you? Okay, so what I want you all to do with each of the ones that you answered, is I want you to ask yourself this question, and I want you to ask it till you can't answer it anymore. And I want you to get to, what do you think the root is of the thing? Do you all understand that? Jocelyn, do you get that? Yeah, so make sure you write down what and why. Okay. All right. As we're almost wrapping up, but I have one more thing I want you to just think about. So I want you to think about the one teacher or coach or mentor that believed in you. And I want you to think about, what is it that they told you that they believed in you? Like, how did you know they believed in you? I want you to write down, what was that thing that made you say, oh yeah, they definitely believe in me, and why? Tell me what that is. Write it down. Tell me who they were, what they believed in, and why do you think they believed in that? The second question I have is, if you have a best friend or a best cousin or a good teammate, someone that's more of like a peer to you, around your age, and I ask them, tell me about Sydney, or tell me about Jocelyn, or tell me about Michelle, only good things, what would they say? I want you to write it down. What would they say about you? What would they tell me about you? And then the last thing I want you to think about, let's say you graduate and you're going to go off to college. Let's say your college is not in the same state you're in. So you're leaving behind your family or your friends or your familiarity of your places that you've been a part of. And I want you to list, what do you want them to remember about you the most? Write down 1 to 3 things. What do you want them to remember about you? Okay. Here's what we're doing. The next thing we're creating is this concept called a truth triangle. And this truth triangle is an opportunity for you to start to build your foundation of not only who you are, but what you believe in and why. Who you are, what you believe in, and why. And when you have this foundation, when things get tough or you get in different environments, we want to like lean back onto these things. So what we're number one doing is creating this foundation. And if you can look right over in my picture behind my body, you see I have my me wheel. I did the same thing you guys did. I have my own me wheel. And then I'm creating my own truth triangle. So you'll see, this is what we're going to work on tomorrow or next Monday. We'll wrap up with it or start with this and then go into the next part. But my truth triangle tells people or tells me what I believe as far as my values and why I believe them, and kind of also what are my motivators. So I'll share them with you as we get there, but this is what we're creating. So you'll create a triangle on your paper and then I'll tell you what you're going to put on them the next time I see you. Okay. And why is that important? Okay. It's important because when things get tough, when you have college coaches come into your games, when you have people that are constantly judging you on your academics and your grades, you have people judging you on, your skills on the field, when they're judging you based on how you do at your home and cleaning your room and doing your dishes. And there's all these people that are giving you these judgments, these thoughts, their own perceptions. You got to go back to the reality is that you can't let other people help or change your perception of who you are. You got to go back to believing in who you are and staying to that as your foundation. And so the reality is that the most powerful force is how you see yourself. So what we're creating today is who am I and how you see yourself. So we're building that up. So I just wanted to show you that quote. And that is about all for today. Does anyone have any questions before we leave? Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me, and I hope to see you again next Monday. I will have this recorded, so I'll send out a link if you guys ever want to rewatch it at some point. Okay? But I'll see you all next week. Bye.
Hi, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.